The Blues are on the cusp of their first Super Rugby title in over 18 years. Can they get the job done this weekend? Hey guys, Michael Pulman here. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a great day, no matter where you are around the world. If you do enjoy these sorts of videos and you want to support what I do here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, ring the bell, and give a thumbs up so you don't miss any future videos. We'd also love to know what you think about the Super Rugby Trans Tasman final this weekend. Comment down below. You've got to love the Blues. It's been a long time in coming. Their fans have suffered. I would love to see them win this game, and I think that they will. Number one, they're not playing the Crusaders, so that's a great thing. The Crusaders are the only team that the Blues haven't looked like beating this year. But what I like about the Blues is how they have progressed, particularly in the last year. Their problems in Super Rugby Aotearoa prior to the Trans Tasman competition were discipline. They didn't have enough discipline, they gave too much penalties away, and they put themselves under too much pressure. In Trans Tasman, they've been playing with a lot more freedom, and they appear to be enjoying the sort of different style of rugby that you get against those Kiwi teams. And we've seen guys really step up, like Dalton Papali'i continuing his terrific form. Surely he's going to be, maybe a bit more regular in that All Blacks environment moving forward. Obviously Sam Cane is out, so I'm really excited, and particularly the Ioane brothers. Finlay Christie, I think he's one of the up and coming halfbacks in New Zealand. I really rate him. Obviously that forward pack as well with the Blues. I mean, a lot's been made about that all year. Just the combinations. You've got Laulala, you've got Hodgman, you've got Tuangafiaki, however you say his name, you've got Tuangafasi. That front row for the Blues didn't really achieve what many of us thought they would in Aotearoa. In fact, they were really disappointing in that department of the game. However, like other aspects of their game, the confidence in this competition, Trans Tasman, has just grown over the weeks, and you've seen it. The fact that the Blues haven't come up against the Kiwi side in several weeks now is going to do them well, but they do have injuries coming into this game, as do the Highlanders. It's going to be really interesting in a couple of days from now to see who they name in that team. In that backline, if you've got Rico Ioane, if you've got Mark Talia, you've got Otedi Black, you've got options there, and then the rest of them sort of speak for themselves. And the 15, Zahn Sullivan, really good player. I rate him, actually. His brother is playing with the Chiefs, but this guy, he can do it all. He's got a long range punt, he can kick goals from 50 metres, and he appears to have a subtle confidence about his game, and you sense that when he can take that ball running ability to the next level, he's going to be a force for teams to deal with. And it's just another one of these players in the Blues that you give them more time, they're going to do well. So I'm not worried at all about the backline. The only thing, if there is something to sort of nitpick, is how they're going to play this game. I am concerned that I do wonder how different this game is going to be from what they've been used to in the last 6 weeks or so, and they're going to have to adapt. They're going to have to front up physically. If they don't do that, they'll get beaten. But the opportunities that come, they're not playing the Australian side. The opportunities are not going to present themselves as much as they would normally. So it is imperative that, particularly the back line, when they're in space, they take those opportunities. And I just want to see them execute all the opportunities. And the forward pack, we've talked about the front row, but when you've got Satutu, when you've got Tui Pelotu, when you've got Papali'i, hopefully they're all fit and available. You would just hope that it all clicks, and it didn't at times during that Aotearoa campaign, yes, there were injuries and so forth, but they still had enough talent on the park and enough power and size that just didn't get it done against the Kiwi side. So I'm interested to see how they go against the Highlanders, who won't be, I don't think, will be as easy beats up front as many think that they will be. What more can we say about Aaron Smith? I think if Aaron Smith is on that park, they can win this game. He's been there, he's done that. The Highlanders were underrated in 2015, and he played a massive part in them winning that game. It's only one position on the park, but if the Highlanders forward pack can match, not necessarily beat the Blues, but if they can provide the Highlanders with a decent platform, Aaron Smith is your guy who is going to be able to make that back line for the Highlanders sing. And I think, your likes of Mitch Hunt, Josh Ioane. I believe that both those guys have been a wee bit too inconsistent this year, but I love what I'm seeing, particularly from Mitch Hunt, and I don't think it matters where they play those guys. They'll do their job, and I think that the challenge for both of them, and I'm looking at Josh Ioane here, and I'm sort of thinking, this is the stage, it's one thing to do it in round play, but he's still yet to really have a moment on the big stage, and this is a big stage. I mean, yeah, it might not be an All Black test, but it's a very, very big stage. So hopefully guys like that are fit and available. That's what I want to see. I want to see, hopefully, and there has been talk of injuries to the likes of Robinson for the Blues. Nariki is also under a pretty big question mark at the moment. So on paper, you'd have to go to the Blues. On recent form, it's a tight one. I mean, let's not make no bones about this. The Highlanders went to Canberra and they beat the Brumbies. That's not easy to do. What I also worry about is, have they played their final a week early? You know what I mean? All the Kiwi teams had points pressure on the table, needing to score tries, needing to win first and foremost, but score tries, and we saw what that did to the Crusaders. What I'm worried about is that the Highlanders, because really, they were all the Kiwi teams apart from the Chiefs were in a reasonable position to shoot for that final, bar even maybe an outside chance of Hurricanes, but the Highlanders weren't guaranteed. They had to get that win. They had to get those points over in Canberra. They did that. I wonder how they're going to back up. Whereas the Blues at home last week, fairly convincing on the score margin over the Force. I don't think this is going to be as simple an equation for the Blues as some are making it out to be, but it is time. The Blues, I'm backing them. I'm backing them all the way because they've shown me enough in terms of player capability, in terms of the combinations, in terms of form. They've shown me enough. If this was the Blues will be breathing a sigh of relief that this is not the Crusaders, because they would not be. I'm sorry, Blues fans, comment down below, but they would not be the Crusaders in the final. I can't see that. Man, if the Crusaders had made this final, the Blues would be underdogs, even though they're at home, because the Crusaders this year have blown the Blues apart in the two times that they played them. Fortunately, from a Blues perspective, you've got the Highlanders, who have been, they've been okay in Trans Tasman, but they haven't been all that great prior to that, and I just wonder if some of those same flaws in their game are going to come back. to bite them in this final. So yeah, Blues for me, I reckon it'll be by about 8 or more, probably between 8 and 12 for their own confidence, if anything else. I mean, they were highly rated, and yes, they've been getting better in recent years, but they're just. This was the year I think that some silverware was expected, and they under-delivered in the Aotearoa campaign. They've delivered what you would expect from them in the Trans Tasman campaign. They've got to get over that last hurdle. They've got to get it done. And for all these guys, I believe this will be their first super final from Blues' perspective. So sometimes ignorance is bliss. It'll depend, but I just think that they've learned enough, the Blues, from earlier in the year, and they've got enough on the park to get the job done and do it well. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my prediction. The Blues by between 8 and 12. Something like that. I reckon they will win, and they will get their first Super Rugby silverware in over 18 years. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? It's been a long time between drinks. Surely the Jesus, surely the all that's holy, the suffering for the long suffering Blues fans ends now. Enjoy the game.